If you taught school, or worked a police shift, or a firehouse, or any government job where Social Security taxes did not come out of your paycheck, there is a good chance somebody once told you that you would never see a Social Security check. And for a lot of you, that was true. 2 rules made it true. One of them cut your own benefit. The other one wiped out the spousal or survivor benefit you would have received through your husband or your wife. Both of those rules are gone now. They were repealed, and the money is real. The agency has already finished more than 3.1 million payments, about $17 billion, going back to January of 2024. And here is why I am making this video today, more than a year after the news cycle moved on. A lot of people who are owed that money still have not seen a dollar of it. Some of them are waiting on a record that never got flagged. But the biggest group is different, and this is the part that almost nobody says out loud. If you never filed an application, because back then filing would have gotten you nothing, then there is nothing in the system to fix automatically. No file, no correction. So today, I want to do 3 things. I will tell you plainly who this law pays. I will explain why some people got paid automatically and others did not. And I will walk through exactly what to do if you are in the group that has to raise their hand, because nobody is coming to find you. I am Ray, and this is Social Security Decoded. Let us start with the 2 rules, because you need to know which one hit you. The first one was called the Windfall Elimination Provision. It has been on the books since 1983. Here is what it did in plain terms. If you spent part of your career in a job that paid into Social Security, and part of your career in a government job that did not, the formula treated you as if you were a low earner who deserved extra help. So it recalculated your benefit downward. Not to 0 usually, but meaningfully lower than what your earnings record looked like it should produce. Teachers who taught for 20 years and waited tables or worked private sector jobs before that got hit by this constantly. The second rule was called the Government Pension Offset, and this one was harsher. It applied to the benefit you would collect through your spouse. If you had a government pension from work that did not pay into Social Security, this rule reduced your spousal or survivor benefit by 2/3 of your pension amount. For a lot of people, 2/3 of the pension was larger than the entire spousal benefit. So the benefit went to 0, not reduced, erased. That is why so many people in this group never filed. Filing an application to receive nothing is not something a busy person does twice. Both rules were repealed by the Social Security Fairness Act, signed in January of 2025. About 3.2 million people are affected, and they are exactly who you would expect: teachers, police officers, firefighters, state and local government workers, certain federal employees. If your paycheck had a pension deduction but no Social Security deduction, this is your law. Now, the money. The repeal is retroactive to January of 2024. That means eligible people get a one-time payment covering the increase all the way back to that date, plus a higher monthly amount going forward. The agency started adjusting monthly payments at the end of February 2025, and most people who were already in the system saw their new monthly amount by April of that year. As of this summer, the agency has completed more than 3.1 million payments totaling roughly $17 billion. I want to be careful here because I know what the next question is. How much do I get? And the honest answer is that it depends entirely on how many years the old rules cut, and by how much. Some people received a few $100s. Some received tens of thousands. I am not going to guess your number, and you should be suspicious of anybody who does. Let me make both rules concrete, because abstract rules are easy to dismiss and specific ones are not. These 2 examples are illustrations I built to show the mechanics. They are not real cases, and they are not a promise about your number. First, the teacher. She waited tables and worked office jobs through her 20s, paying into Social Security the whole time. Then she taught in a district that did not participate in Social Security for 25 years, and she retired with a pension from that district. Her earnings record from those early years is real, and on its face it looks like it should produce a modest monthly benefit. Under the old windfall elimination provision, the formula treated her short paid-in record as if she were a low lifetime earner and adjusted it down, so what she actually received each month was a fraction of what the record implied. Repealing that rule means her benefit gets recalculated on the ordinary formula, and the difference comes back to January of 2024. Now the second one, and this is the one that made people give up entirely. A woman spent her whole career in a state job with a pension and no Social Security taxes. Her husband worked in the private sector for 40 years and paid in the whole time. He dies. Under normal rules, she would step into a survivor benefit based on his record. Under the government pension offset, her survivor benefit was reduced by 2/3 of her own pension. If her pension was large enough, 2/3 of it exceeded the entire survivor benefit, and the answer came out to 0. Sit with that for a second, because it explains the behavior. She was not underpaid in a way she could see on a statement. She was told there was nothing to claim, so she never claimed. And now that the rule is repealed, there is still no application on file, which means there is still nothing for a computer to fix. There is a third group inside all of this that gets forgotten even more often: divorced spouses. If your marriage lasted at least 10 years and you have not remarried, you can be eligible on your former spouse's record, and the government pension offset used to wipe that out the same way it wiped out the survivor benefit. Same repeal, same eligibility, same requirement to actually apply. Nobody is going to look up your marriage certificate for you. And one more group, looking forward rather than backward. If you are still working in one of these jobs right now, this changes your planning, not just your history. The calculation that told you your future Social Security benefit would be cut, or that your spousal benefit would be worthless, was based on rules that no longer exist. If you made a decision years ago about when to retire or whether to take a different job based on that arithmetic, it is worth running the numbers again with the current rules. All right, now the part this video exists for. Why do some people have the money and others have nothing? There are 3 different situations, and they need 3 different responses. Situation 1. You were already receiving a Social Security benefit that was reduced by one of these rules. The agency had your record. In most of these cases, the fix happened automatically. The back payment landed in the bank account on file, and the monthly amount went up. If that describes you and the money arrived, you are done. Nothing more to do. The bank account on file and the monthly amount went up. If that describes you and the money arrived, you are done. Nothing more to do. Situation 2. You were already receiving a benefit. You were reduced by one of these rules, and you still have not seen anything. This happens when a record did not get flagged in the automated review. It is not rare. If it has been more than a year and nothing has changed in your deposit, that is not something to keep waiting on politely. That is a phone call. And while we are here, one practical thing that catches people in both of those situations. The back payment goes to the bank account the agency has on file, and any letter goes to the mailing address on file. If you moved, or if you changed banks in the last few years and never updated it, the money may have gone somewhere unhelpful. Updating your address and your direct deposit information is a 5-minute job online, and it is worth doing before you make any other call. Situation 3, and this is the group I really made this video for. You never filed an application at all. Maybe you were told at the counter years ago that the offset would wipe out your spousal benefit, so there was no point. Maybe your husband or wife died, and somebody explained that the survivor benefit would come to nothing because of your pension, so you never applied. Here is what I need you to understand. Automatic correction only works on files that exist. If you never applied, the agency has no application to reopen and no benefit to recalculate. From the system's point of view, you are not a person who was underpaid. You are a person who never asked. Nobody is going to knock on your door. So if that is you, the action is simple and it is entirely on you. You apply. Now, let me walk through how, because a little structure makes this much less intimidating. First, gather what you have. Your own Social Security number, your marriage certificate if you are claiming on a spouse's record, and the death certificate if you are claiming as a survivor. Information about your government pension, including what agency pays it. And if you have divorce papers and the marriage lasted at least 10 years, bring those too, because divorced spouses can be eligible under the same rules. Second, make the appointment. You can start an application online, and for many people that works fine. But if your situation involves a survivor benefit or a pension from a system you are not sure about, I would push you towards speaking with a person. Call the national number and ask for an appointment, or contact your local office. Yes, the wait can be long. Do it anyway. Third, when you talk to them, say the specific words. Tell them you are applying for benefits that were previously offset by the government pension offset or the windfall elimination provision, and that you are asking about retroactivity to January 2024 under the Social Security Fairness Act. That sentence tells the person on the other end exactly which rules apply to you, and it moves the conversation past the misunderstanding you may have had years ago. Fourth, write everything down. The date you applied, the name of the person you spoke with, any confirmation number. If something goes sideways later, that record is what fixes it. And fifth, do not let one wrong answer end it. The rules changed recently enough that not everyone at every counter explains them the same way. If you are told something that contradicts what you have heard here, ask specifically about the Social Security Fairness Act by name, and ask to speak with a supervisor if you need to. You are not being difficult. You are being accurate. 2 more things, and then I will let you go. If you do receive a large back payment, it may affect your tax return for the year you receive it. I am not going to walk through that math here because it depends on your other income and it deserves its own conversation. Just do not be surprised and mention it to whoever prepares your taxes. And a warning, because where there is a wave of government money, there is always a wave of phone calls. The agency does not call you first, demanding fees or personal information to release money you are owed. Nobody has to pay to claim this. If somebody calls offering to speed up your Fairness Act payment for a fee, that is a scam, and you can hang up without guilt. Let me finish with the thing I actually want you to take away. For years, a lot of you built your retirement plan around a sentence somebody said to you at a counter. You will not get anything. And you adjusted. You worked longer, you spent less, you made peace with it. That sentence is no longer true, and the correction is retroactive. And the only thing standing between some of you and money that is already yours is an application nobody has told you to file. If you have a government pension and you have never applied, or you applied years ago and were denied because of these offsets, make the call this week. This is general education about how the program works, not financial advice for your situation. The rules, the amounts, and the forms change, so confirm anything here with Social Security directly before you act on it. I am Ray. This is Social Security Decoded, and I will see you in the next one.